So very recently, Stepford County Railway has reached 50 million visits. I'm very honored, personally, to be a part of that number, of the number of visits that has came to a train game that's based in the UK. A very popular game, that I will say. And with that, there was a giveaway, a competition as some would say it, of prizes, just as a thank you to the community. Now, what was involved with these prizes? Well, let's say that there were 30 million points involved, everything in the game completely for free involved, your own store, SCR merchandise, the list goes on. And I had the opportunity to host my very own giveaway. I was so excited to do this opportunity, and so much was about to happen. My name is Ace, and this is my story of hosting my very first giveaway in Stepford County Railway. So, Stepford County Railway hit 50 million visits. I am an official content creator for that game, and I am very honored to have that role. After 2 days of being accepted into the content creator program, we reached 50 million visits, and I had the opportunity to host my own giveaway. So, filled out a survey, and my top 3 choices for my giveaway were 30,000 points, everything in the game completely for free, and having your own custom store in the game, which I thought were very good prizes. So I started my own Discord server, just as a way to make it easier for people who want to attend my giveaway can enter, and that way I can host sessions. And the way that I hosted my own giveaway was that I wanted something unique. Originally, I was going to do like a video submitting contest of people doing challenges, but I decided not to do that and to do a slightly different approach. So there were no video submissions, but it was in a similar setup to Stepford County Railway trainings, but instead of trainings, it was challenges to where myself or others would host a session, and if you passed, you got to move on to the next round, or if you failed, you have to try again and join another time. So it was that kind of process, and I wanted to do challenges that would basically break the rules of SCR, because I want to have fun, I want people to have fun, and what better way than to break the rules, right? So, what were these challenges? Well, the entire competition, the entire giveaway, was generally breaking the rules of a qualified driver. Because the qualified driver, to pass, you have to follow the speed limits, you have to stop appropriately, and you have to do so many other things. For this one, we just ignored all the rules. You just got to go at it and do the best that you can. So, I hosted 3 rounds and a final round. Now, what were the 3 rounds? Well, round 1 was the shortstop competition. Round 2 was the buffer shortstop competition. And then round 3 was a time trial competition. Now, what was round 1? Round 1 was the shortstop competition. Now, the general rule of this was that you would spawn at any Coxley sighting, either at the Coxley Depot sighting or the bypass sighting. You can spawn at either one. And I would have a co-host signaler, and he or she would alternate the signals at Coxley to release the trains back and forth, just so that traffic can keep flowing. They would then go from 0 to 100, speed all the way to Benton, and then as they approach Benton's platforms 4 through 5, they would have to apply the brake at the correct time without releasing, without cruising, without speeding up, and they have to stop at the car stop marker within a half car margin of error. So I decided that we would use the class 707 because it's all 5 cars to make things fair. We do use the class 707. They would have 3 tries, and that they'd go from 100 to 0, and they had to be 1/2 of a car length from the 5 car stop marker. If they were 1/2 short or 1/2 over, they passed. If they were beyond those margins of error, they would have to fail and they would try again. If you failed 3 times, then you have to join another session at a later time. If you passed, you got the opportunity to go on to round 2, and you had the opportunity to host a round 1 so we can get more people going. For me, since I live in the United States and I am in college, there was no easy time for me to host a session unless it was at night. So I was hoping that people would pass and that they would host their own round so that more people can go through. And this happened the entire time. If you passed, you had to get a co to do the alternation of signals, and you had to be, if you were hosting, you had to record your own session just as proof that yes, people did indeed pass or they failed. Like there was no bias or anything like that. To keep things fair, of course. And then that's just all that we did. We just kept going on and on and on. And then, after so many people passed round 1, like literally one day after round 1 started, we hosted the first round 2 session. Now, the round 2 session, very similar to round 1. The round 2 is called the buffer shortstop. You would spawn at Stepford East Depot. We would just alternate going to platforms 4 through 9 at Stepford Central. Now, the idea behind this is that you go from 100 to 0, and you have to stop before you hit the buffer, obviously. So the margins were a lot tighter because of 3 things. Reason number 1, for starters, you have a shorter margin of error. You have a 1/4 of a car length from the buffer to pass. Otherwise, if you're short of that, or if you ate the buffer, you fail and you have to try again. Reason number 2, you only had 2 attempts. I didn't want to make this easy. I want to keep things challenging. So to have the 1/4 margin of error and having 2 attempts will keep things challenging. I want people to try and get better with fewer attempts, just to make things interesting and to keep the rounds going longer and more difficult so that they can actually fight for their rewards. And reason number 3, which I haven't thought about this, but others have mentioned, platforms 4 through 9 are not the same length if you look at it, because they're all curved. If they were all straight, then they would be the same length. But since they're all curved, applying the brakes from 100 to 0 and stopping at the buffers is a lot different than doing platform 9 from 100 to 0 and applying the brakes, because the distance is a lot longer. So they have to keep that in mind. As they're approaching, they would see the platform number, and then they would have to think in their head when they have to apply. Because, as I said, platform 4 is a lot shorter than platform 9. So, you have to think, should I apply it early, should I apply it later, based off the platform that you went on. So, as more people passed, we went on to round 3. Round 3 was a time trial run for Express. And the idea behind this was, see, if you got the fastest time, you got to move on to round 4. And my original idea was that I would have the top 10 fastest times of the time trial run move on to round 4. Now for round 3, it was Express, starting from Stepford Central, ending at ㄖ ×', doing the ㄖ super fast route by skipping Layton City, because if you skip one station, you're not going to despawn. And that is the fastest route to go from Stepford Central to ㄖ ×'. Just like without skipping. It's the fastest route to get there if you skip a station. Like even without skipping. So I used that route, and then you do Express. So they will line up at Stepford Central, trains will be flowing in. Then we just alternate 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just let them all go all at once in a controlled flow, and then they would just go. And they would be timed. And from whenever the moment they see a green signal on the platform is whenever the time starts, to keep things fair. They got to close the doors on a red, which you normally are not allowed to do, but they got to close the doors on red and just wait. So it's just ready to go. The moment that the green was lit, they went off, and the time would begin, and they would drive all the way to ㄖ ×'. And the moment they stop and open the doors, their time stops. So the idea behind this was that they were encouraged to do 125 to 0 buffer shortstop at Stepford Central, or at ㄖ ×', because if you think about it, and mathematically this is true, doing a 125 to 0 and opening the doors is a lot quicker than slowing down early and then just rolling up. You're encouraged to do that, to get the 125 to 0, because you get a faster time. If you don't get as much faster for time, but it wasn't required because they've already done enough of that. So after all said that was done, the time for the competition was getting close to being over, and due to my schedule of college with the many exams that was happening that week, I had no time due to studying and other projects to host a round 4, because that would just take too much of my time. So we decided to go with a plan B. But before I mention plan B, round 4 was to do a competition to be as chaotic as possible. Now keep in mind, as this was going on, there was the last session for each round. If you didn't pass round 1, round 2, or round 3, you were unable to proceed on to the next round. So you had to pass it to go on to the next round. Otherwise, if you didn't make it, then you were out. That's how it went. And the original goal was to have the top 10 times compete for the top 3 places for signaling. All unexperienced signalers just doing a chaotic filled zone by doing it as perfectly as possible. And the top 3 performers will get to choose their prizes. That was the original plan. But time was short, went to plan B. So we did the Wheel of Death. And what I came up with was that there were 63 people out of the 80 something people in my server at the time. 63 people passed round 1. All 63 of those people got at least 1 slot on the wheel. But if you passed round 2, you got 2 slots. If you passed round 3, you got 3 slots. To keep things fair, because you pass more rounds and you deserve to have more of a chance to win the prizes. So that's how I set up the wheel. And then spun the wheel, claimed the prizes. First one was 30,000 points. Second one was everything in the game. And then the third one was having your own store in the game. And that was it. That was the competition. Then we celebrated and had some fun driving a party train on express going from Stepford Central to ㄖ by the Sea. And I did enjoy it. That was fun. And that is just a brief story of hosting my first giveaway in Stepford County Railway. I had a blast. I did wish that the 50 million didn't happen at the time that it did, because if it didn't, then I would have had a lot more time. But it didn't. I had so much stuff happening. But it is what it is. I was able to make it work, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So I hope all of you did enjoy this brief video. If y'all did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Stepford County Railway content. I absolutely love the game, and I am planning on posting more of this content. Other than that, I'll see you all next time, and I hope all of you have a good day. Goodbye.
There we go. Ah, I got a voice crack. Alright, go ahead and go really far.
I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase.
Platform 4 for the 0122 Stepford Connect service to Edgemead. Calling at Benton Bridge, Hampton Hargate,
Okay.
Wharton Newton, Leighton, Stepford Road, Leighton City, and Edgemead. This train is formed of 5 coaches.
Oh, the first one you sent was perfect. Who is that driver?
Platform 4 for
Alright,
the
to the next one.
0131 Stepford Connect service to Stepford Airport Central.
Oh shit, I think I got the
Gosh.
wrong window.
Stepford Airport Parkway and Stepford Airport Central.
Oh, did I just let the wrong
This
one
train
go?
is formed
Nope, you're fine,
of
you're fine,
5
you're fine, you're
coaches.
Oh shoot, my bad.
Nope, you're fine, don't worry about it.
Stepford Connect service to Stepford Airport Central. Calling at Benton Bridge, Stepford Airport Parkway, and Stepford Airport Central. This train is formed of 5 coaches.
Oh, is that beautiful? Is that it? Margin? Dude, that's the margin! Oh gosh. Oh, that's a hard pass. Wait a minute. Yep. That's a pass. Alright, who is that? Oh my. Alright, that's a fail. Bring it good. Make it good. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Wow. Wow. Time starts. Bro, like, what if an express just rolled right below me and just stopped? That would just be incredible. Just, oh, so incredible. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's gonna be close. Ooh. Ooh.